Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with HeisHockey.com, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the world-famous junior hockey discussion group on Facebook, 7,500 strong people on that group. We are the Junior Hockey Morning Show, and you're watching us on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV. We are on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Today's Tuesday, January 10th. My guest today is Colorado hockey expert Damon Zier. We're going to talk about Colorado hockey a little bit this morning. We'll go through some of the news in the USHL and North American Hockey League, and then jump into the Colorado segment. Good morning, Damon. How are you?
I'm great, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
You are live and kicking, 7:01 a.m. in Colorado. It's nice and warm there this morning.
Yeah, it's a little early, but I was up at 4, so.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
4 a.m. Sometimes I go to bed at 4 a.m., but since doing this show, I have an excuse to go to bed by 10. And the wife doesn't know who I am. What are you doing here? You're usually working till 2 or 3 in the morning. Why are you here now?
That's the way it goes.
She likes having me there, I think. Oftentimes I'm sleeping before she goes to bed. That's a trick. All right. So USHL scores and schedules. No games yesterday in the USHL. But they did announce their player of the week, sort of the North American Hockey League, or the players of the week. Cole Eiserman from the U.S. National Team Development Program, Eric Pullkamp from Cedar Rapids, and Jack Spicer, Waterloo, earned United States Hockey League Player of the Week honors for last week. In the NAHL, no games yesterday. Philadelphia at Danbury today. New Mexico is at El Paso. The NAHL also announced their divisional stars of the week. Central Division, Chase LaPinte, forward from Minot Montoros. East Division, Michael Young, I can say that name, forward from the New Jersey Titans. Midwest Division, Dylan Johnson, goaltender, Janesville Jets. And the South Division, this is kind of funny, Logan Hero, why from Shreveport defenseman. Only Shreveport would have a French kid, you know. And I always love Shreveport. But they got their rows and goes all messed up. Little X at the end. Good job, Logan. No games in the NA3HL. A little bit of news. Generals 3HL 2003 forward Nolan Zotter signed an NAHL tender with the Generals big club for next year. Damon got through that stuff. Colorado. People think about Colorado and hockey, think about the Avalanche going there in 95. But we know that hockey in Colorado has been around a long time since, and you were with the Avalanche when they first came to town. Is that right?
That's correct. I was fortunate enough to land a position with them in 1997 after they came in 95. And I go back to the Rockies days, the Colorado Rockies. That was my first exposure to hockey, and it just blossomed from there. And then I got the opportunity to work with the Avalanche. Denver Grizzlies before that, and helped them ramp up because they came in the summer and they had just a few months to get everything up and operating, and I helped them, and it was awesome. It launched me.
So the Avalanche were the Quebec Nordiques, but before that, the Colorado Rockies were there from 76 to 82 before becoming the New Jersey Devils.
Correct.
They played at the Nickel Sports Arena. The Avalanche came in 95, right? And they played at Nichols until they got the new arena. But before that, college hockey was huge in the state of Colorado and has been ever since. Colorado College started playing Division I hockey or college hockey in 1938. University of Denver came around in 1949 and Air Force Academy in 1968. Interesting enough, I was 2 years old when the academy got started, and I've been to that school, been to that program, visited with the great coaching staff they have there in Frank Serratori. What an outstanding program!
Stephen, my youngest, Dylan, went to a camp at Air Force and played there multiple times. It's a great place. It's outstanding.
The staff has been fantastic there. Frank Serratori is a legendary coach. It's interesting because Corey Millen, who's now with the Norsemen, was working with that program as well after being at the University of Minnesota. They've just done so well. But to get that level of player onto the ice in Colorado Springs and into the Air Force program
that's a challenge.
It is. It certainly is.
It's huge.
But Colorado College has been fantastic.
And that's huge too, because Colorado College is the Ivy League of the West. Absolutely. I couldn't get in there. I tried, but I couldn't get in there.
You have to have a heck of a slap shot. Brian Swanson from Alaska went there.
Yeah, and you got to have the grades, and you got to have the accomplishments. But yeah, you're right.
So in 2003, the Colorado Eagles came to town with the Central Hockey League, and now they're in the American Hockey League. They've done very well on their program at the Budweiser Event Center. Where's that in? Is that right north of Denver, isn't it? Is it in?
Yeah, it's about an hour north of Denver. It's in Windsor. They hosted a few years ago. They hosted the Final Four for state high school, and Dylan got to play there. Yeah, it's a great complex, and there's multiple complexes here in Colorado that are great for hockey.
Over the years, we've had numerous junior leagues in the state and teams through the years. Stuart Bourne, who's a Denver area attorney, started a team called the Vail Avalanche. I believe it was called the American Frontier Hockey League. It was non-sanctioned at that time. Stuart Bourne eventually sold the logo for the Vail Avalanche to the Colorado Avalanche. I think he's still making money off of that. Junior B hockey has been around in the state for many years through the Western States Hockey League. Numerous non-sanctioned leagues and teams in the area. AAA, AA, and high school hockey has exploded. One of my favorite programs in the state is Valor Christian, with the former University of Denver coach Guaz coaching there. It's been very interesting, and lately, just as of the last.
So you know, we knocked them off from Chaparral a couple of years ago. Dylan was on that team, and we knocked him off, and it was very cool. But yeah, they're a great program.
You know, I like Guaz a lot. I like what he stands up for, and what he expects out of his players. The same level of character and determination and expectation that he had at University of Denver and before that in many places. He's brought to Valor. Character is a very strong word for him, and it's big for us as well. We've had a number of players join us at Victorious from Valor. Maybe the kids like the letter V, I don't know. But those kids are scattered around junior hockey and AAA hockey around the country, and they've done exceptionally well. It's interesting because before the Avalanche started, there were 16,513 registered players in the Rocky Mountain region in 94-95, the year before the Avalanche moved to Denver. Colorado hosted its first cup in 96, and the following year, the total increased to 20,286 players. After the Avalanche won the cup number 2 in 2001, there were 34,400 players, more than doubling in 6 years. This past season, a record 3,000 plus players at 8 and under were playing hockey in Colorado, with girls being the fastest growing segment, doubling over the last 5 years to nearly 600 players. It's those kind of numbers that show that the game is just absolutely exploded in the state.
It did. And not only just players, the buildings. There was probably 2 rinks around town, and now they're all over the place. It's very impressive. You got a major complex here, 10 minutes from me, that has 3 sheets, which was unheard of.
Is that in Superior?
30 years ago. South Suburban.
Okay, South Side. And Superior has a new building within the last 5 or 10 years too, I guess, right? That's where the Rough Riders are based out of. I think so. And then,
I believe so.
And where is the facility that's in Greeley? That's where the new Colorado Grit of the North American Hockey League will be.
I don't think that's new. We played up there before. One of my kids, I can't remember, has played up there, but it's a nice facility. It's funny that I remember the facility better than my kids that played up there, but it's perfect. It's perfect.
And how many does that rink seat, you think, Damon?
1,000.
Not bad. So over the years, you have 2 kids in hockey. One is a senior this year, I believe, at Marion. Is that right? In Wisconsin?
Correct.
And the other one is playing for John Bokus, we've had on this show a number of times.
Yes.
With the Atlanta Capitals in the NA3HL.
Correct.
And we've been lucky to be able to be a part of your younger son's career so far. But tell us about his youth hockey experiences in Colorado.
I have to thank you, first off, for helping us get to Atlanta, because I was, after Brendan's ordeal up in Ontario, Dylan wanted to play hockey, and we didn't know where to place him, but I got in touch with you, and you helped me place him with Atlanta, and he stayed there.
Well, he's a good fit for that team.
This is his 2nd year, and he loves the game, and it's a first-class organization. Don Stone owns that, and he's got an NA3 team. He's got an Odessa team, which is NAHL, and
he actually has 2 NA3 teams. He owns the Road Runners and the Atlanta Capitals, and then Odessa. And
Correct.
And he used to own the Topeka Road Runners, and that's why the Texas Road Runners are named that way. Had all that stuff.
But you know what? I was fortunate enough to meet him in Minnesota, and he'll talk your leg off. He's got 8 boys in hockey. Imagine that, 8 kids. And he just does it the right way, and he's on the board with the NA, and I'm just thoroughly impressed.
He's a big part of the Southern Amateur Hockey Association. I believe he also coaches high school hockey in the Atlanta area. Just a phenomenal individual that has invested in the game in so many ways. And a lot of these dads, when they get involved, they just kind of fade away when the kid ages out. But that's not the case for Don Stone and his family.
That's right. He jumped in big time.
He's all in. He's all in.
All in.
I've known Don since 97, 98 season. That's how far we go back. It's crazy. We helped put together the first Southern Elite Hockey League. People don't realize that Don and I did that. We got out when the inmates started running the asylum. But we knew quickly this wasn't going to work, and we had to get out. And I went to Tampa, the Lightning, and Don went on his way as well. But just a fantastic guy. I really believe in Don and what he's done with that program. He's got a great coach in Scott Dewar in Odessa, and he's very integral when it comes to being part of the North American Hockey League and keeping that product and that brand on a good footing.
Hey, I will sell him to anybody. His organization, his mindset, his business sense of the junior program. You're going to be tough to find a better one.
It's interesting because the North American Hockey League venture into Colorado, it's a bit of a stretch. You know, there's a team in New Mexico. That's not a terrible drive from Denver area, but it is, as of right now, a team in the South Division. It sure is a long way from Colorado to Corpus Christi, right? But
correct.
I think it's such an important part of the league and for what they can do. And it also kind of puts a stick into the spoke of that non-sanctioned league in the Mountain region. And this ownership group that the Grit have, actually, you know, one of the key guys is from that non-sanctioned league. And they had a big plan about putting a free-to-play element into the Mountain region. And I think this kind of messes
Who's that,
up.
Steven? Which one?
Which team?
No, which individual?
That would be Casey Bradshaw.
Okay.
Casey's I like Casey. I've known him for, too long now. Just a fantastic guy. I believe in what he's doing there in Colorado. Steve Haddon was his coach there. And just a good guy. One of the kids that we had last year in Bepco from Atlanta, he ended up going to the team in Colorado. First part of the season, got injured, really didn't have a place to play when he came back from his injury, and now is back in Atlanta. But just a fantastic kid. But that organization, top to bottom, has always been very, very structured. Kids get what they pay for. And generally, the barometer of success for junior hockey at the pay-to-play level is if I don't hear a complaint ever, that's a pretty good sign because parents will bring complaints to me very quickly.
Agree.
And I don't hear complaints about that organization. Other ones, absolutely not from that one. And it seems like in pay-to-play hockey, you got about maybe 15% of the operators out there who don't do things the right way, and they cause 90% of the problems, right? But 85% of the guys are doing things the right way. We circle back to Atlanta. I think the Atlanta Capitals probably fly more than most professional teams at the minor league level. Certainly,
that's what impressed me is they bus to Louisiana, but other than that, they play in Texas. And Dylan and his teammates right now are spending their whole month of January in Texas.
Yeah, on the road in Texas.
Yeah. So, but you know, they take care of the boys. That's all that matters to me.
You're never going to hear about an inadequate pregame meal with that organization. You're never going to hear about kids getting shortchanged. You know, Stone has a lot of assets in Texas. He's got kids in Texas, I believe. You get the Roadrunners, the Jackalopes in Odessa. Good relationship with the folks there at Lone Star with Frank Terrazana. I blew that name to pieces. But at the NYTEX Sports Center. But you never hear about kids getting shortchanged. And
that's the thing. I talk to parents. I talk to kids. I chat with kids via your website, which is awesome.
You mean the discussion group?
Yeah. Yes, correct.
I don't particularly own Facebook. Facebook is
Well-
owned by another guy. I just kind of make it better for him.
Anyway, I'm on it, and I catch people, and I've got that kid in Nashville, the goalie that I told you about, and I've talked to other parents, and because it's a maze that is very difficult to navigate, and it's good to bounce things off of people, get their experience, and learn, because I didn't have it with my older kid. We just winged it and we got fleeced. But second time around, it was better. So,
parents that go into junior hockey blindly, they're taking a big chance. It's like jumping into black water. If you don't know the players, you don't know, I say players, you don't know the organizations, you don't know the reputation of coaches or operators, and you just jump in, you can find yourself in the world of trouble real quickly.
And you lose lots of money, and you won't get value.
If you pick up a name and you see a name Brian Fish, run like hell. That's a bad guy. That's a bad guy. And Brian, if you're watching this show, you can get an attorney and call me if you want to. I don't care. I get sued on a regular basis now, so no big deal.
Yeah, go pound sand, Brian.
You're a very popular figure on this side of the border, Brian. That's why you stayed north of the border. I'm surprised you're not arrested when you come down here. You should be. But you charge one kid $15,000. The other kids are playing for free. Yeah, they're suckers. You got them.
Hey, my kid, I had to pay $12,500 for him, and he had other kids on his team that paid almost free. So, there's lots of those people out there, and it's ridiculous. So, your website is helping people educate themselves and understand what the game is about and how to go forward and develop themselves, and get the best bang for their buck, basically.
It's interesting because we have a private group on Facebook. It started out as a discussion group from my articles on juniorhockey.com. We've evolved. We thought maybe it would get a couple hundred people, if that. Did never imagine that it would grow to where it's at. And it's fun because a lot of families that have gone through the junior process and the parents are still actively involved in our group, and they're very willing to help new parents come along. It's been a very
and that's
good,
me.
Absolutely.
That's me. I love it.
What year is Damon? He's a 2003, right?
Dylan's a 2003, correct?
2003, yeah. So he's got one more year. I would like to see Dylan possibly go to junior A hockey for next year. There's more opportunities within the North American Hockey League. There's definitely opportunities in the Canadian Junior Hockey League for him. He's got a lot of potential. He could go to college next year.
He's already been accepted, and he will go, and he'll play at Norwich University next year. But if you can get your kid into an NAHL school or college or program, that's ideal because you don't have to pay. And but that's the goal, and that's what we've got coming up here in Greeley, and that's very impressive.
Well, we're excited about the Colorado Grit. What a cool name! I guess that used to be.
I know. I told him. I emailed him. I said, "Hey, that you guys got a great logo, great name, and it captured everything about Greeley and Colorado."
I know I'm going to get yelled at for this. Alex Curious is the director of communication for the North American Hockey League, and he's going to cringe right now. Alex, I'm sorry. You have two new teams joining the league and two teams that did things completely the opposite of each other. The Rochester Junior Americans, it was a wasted opportunity. calling a team a junior of the pro team doesn't work out. I know the Springfield Junior Blues have been around for 100 years or 50 years or 40 years.
Dallas Stars Junior. Dallas Junior.
That's the Mid-City Junior Stars in the 3HL. But
yes,
I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work on a regular, consistent basis. We've seen the USHL try that in Columbus. We've seen it in other places around the country and around the continent where these junior NAHL teams or minor league teams, it hasn't worked out very well. The Danbury junior hat tricks have been an absolute disaster within the market and within the league. So we go back and look at that, how Rochester came in kind of copying that junior idea with Rochester, and Colorado comes in with a brand new logo, a brand new identity. They're not copying anybody. They're going to sell a lot of apparel. They'll sell apparel 20 to 1.
And it's a great location.
It is.
It's got a great barn up there. It's central to Colorado. Close to Denver. Good access for travel, which is important. If they get their billet situation set up well, it'll be a destination point.
Absolutely. And ownership is very, very strong with that group.
Yes.
Bradshaw was able to pull an owner from Aspen. I
Yes.
understand he flies around on the Gulf Stream. That's a good sign. If you fly around in the Gulf Stream, you probably can afford a junior hockey team.
I chatted with him briefly, and he was very cordial, and he's excited about what's coming up. But he's the Bucks. The other people are the personnel. So we'll go from there.
Combination. Well, let's wrap up today's show. Damon, thanks for joining us this morning. Good show this morning. If you guys get a chance, my son and my daughter, mostly my son, put together a new page on YouTube. Please subscribe to that page. You can find that in the Junior Hockey Discussion Group, or if you search Junior Hockey Morning Show in your YouTube area, you can pick it up there. Of course, you can also watch directly on WSBN.TV. You probably can watch it now on Dish Network and DirecTV, the Canadian version of that. We're in Europe now. I don't know why.
Wow.
I watch my face. It's this is not a good face for TV. Definitely worth it for radio. But here we are, Damon. Are you older than I am, Damon? What year were you born?
70.
Oh God, he's a baby. All right, I'm once again the geezer. This happens on a regular basis.
It's okay.
That's all right. So that's it for today, folks. This has been the Junior Hockey Morning Show on WSBN.TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all those great places. That's it. We hope that you have an amazing, great day in hockey.